The first paragraph in any essay is always your introductory paragraph. We call it the introductory paragraph because you are introducing the reader to the main topic of the essay. You're really preparing the reader to understand the main points in your essay. Since you're preparing the reader to understand your essay, this is a great opportunity to give any important background information that the reader is going to need. Another purpose of your introduction is to help the reader get interested in your topic. After they read your introductory paragraph, they should be interested to continue and read the rest of your paper. But it's important to remember what does not go in your introductory paragraph. Your introduction is not a place to give any main points or any main details that you're going to say later in the body of your paper. The thesis statement is really the most important sentence of your whole paper. Sometimes we even say that the thesis statement is king of your essay because it's going to determine everything else that can be a part of your essay. It's always the last sentence of your introduction, and it's always one sentence. Your thesis statement cannot be spread out over 2 sentences, and it is the main idea of your whole essay. When your reader reads your thesis statement, they should have a very clear idea of what your paper is going to be about. This is an introduction from an essay about immigrants and how often they start their own businesses. So in this introduction, let's look at how does the writer introduce the topic and what do they do to make you feel interested. So let's look at the beginning. Tom Saki immigrated to Canada from Hungary with his family at the age of 4. He was amazed by how often people in Canada threw things away so quickly instead of fixing them. Coming from a poor country like Hungary, he was shocked by this wastefulness and became inspired to do something about it. Therefore, he started a small repair and resale business at the age of 14. It was instantly successful, and he expanded to a business with 3 full-time employees in just 5 years. There are millions of immigrants who migrate to the United States every year. Okay, so that's kind of where we change gears. So this whole part is our opening to the introduction, and it's where the reader is really grabbing our attention. How are they doing that? They're doing it with a story. The story about Tom coming to Canada and how he opened his own business. So it's really getting the reader warmed up and thinking about immigrants opening their own businesses. And the story automatically draws you in and gets you interested. Next, let's look at this next section. There are millions of immigrants who migrate to the United States every year, and like Saki, many of them open their own businesses. So this is kind of a transition where we go from the story and we say, just like the story, in general, this is the situation, right? Many immigrants open their home business. So this is really where we're getting specifically into what is the topic of our essay. Then as we continue, we can see some facts and figures that give us some background about immigrant entrepreneurialism. The percentage of immigrant-owned businesses in California in 2016 was 36.6%. So this is around 676,537 of the total California businesses. And if we look specifically at new businesses, immigrants own 44.6%. we see similar numbers in other parts of the nation with substantial immigrant populations. So I'm giving the reader some background information now to understand the rest of the essay. Maybe they don't know how entrepreneurial immigrants are, so I want to explain that first before I talk about why, right? I want to show that they are entrepreneurial before I can explain why. And then I lead into the introduction with this sentence here. But where does this entrepreneurial tendency come from? Hopefully I've made the reader curious to know the answer to that. And so now they'll be ready and interested and excited to read the paper. And then finally, we get down to our thesis statement here, which is immigrants' entrepreneurship is inspired by their cross-cultural knowledge and their inclination, that means tendency, to take risks for a better future. So based on the thesis statement, what do you think the essay will be about? Well, we already know it's about immigrants and entrepreneurship, but really the paper is going to talk about why. What are the reasons that immigrants are entrepreneurial? So here I would say reasons. And the paper identifies two reasons, right? Their cross-cultural knowledge is my reason number one, and their inclination to take risks for a better future is reason number two. So I would guess from this that we are going to have two body paragraphs, one body paragraph to explain each of those reasons.